name is Linda Palmer with Palmer Natural Health, and I have a concern, and I'm sure it's a concern for a lot of people. It's about our kids in the school system. When I was a kid, we went to the cafeteria and we paid $0.25 and we got a full meal, a homemade meal. One was stew and mashed potatoes and carrots and salad and things like that. What are the kids getting fed today? Pizza, junk, hamburgers, hot dogs, any vegetables in there? Maybe a piece of lettuce and a slice of tomato, but not anything nutritious. And then they test the kids, and the kids don't test well. Well, how can they test well? They're not eating anything that's worthwhile, that's nourishing their bodies. So they're not testing well. And then they put them on, and they bring in the Psych docs, and then they put them on Ritalin. And that's supposed to help them think when all they need is nutrition. You know, give them a good breakfast, you know, give them real food instead of McDonald's or Burger King or whatever that's fast. Sit them down. It doesn't even have to be breakfast food. It could be mashed potatoes and roast beef. It could be anything that you had the night before. It could be fried chicken. It could be a salad with some meat in it. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of getting some food in these kids so they can think. It's not that their brain isn't working right, it's the brain isn't getting any nourishment, and how can a kid think if he doesn't have any good food in his head or in his body? You know, so this really slays me because I made a point of always feeding my kids good food. You know, how about some organic eggs? How about some really good bacon? How about some fat? Fat's not a bad thing, fat's a good thing. Do you know 95% of your brain is made out of fat? And do you also realize that mother's milk, which is a great thing to do, is breastfeed, is 90 to 95% all fat. So why do you think fat is bad? It's such misinformation. You know, the more fat you get in the body, the better it is, and it runs so much better. It's I give the analogy of, were you ever a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout? And you made these big fires, and you put all the wood together, and then you put the tiny little branches on the bottom, and then you lit it up, and boom, it went up really quick, right? That's what happens with carbs and sugar. It burns real fast, and then it's gone. Where if you take something like fats, or you have a coal fire, and it goes over a longer period of time, and it keeps your blood sugar levels up at a certain level so that you can keep thinking, and you can function, and you can be productive. And that's a difference between real food and McDonald's. You ever eat McDonald's and 2 hours later you're hungry? Because it's not food. They did, one of the companies took chicken nuggets. They put it underneath a microscope. They looked at it. You know, chicken has fiber, it's muscles, right? Well, when they looked at it underneath the microscope, there was nothing there. There were not any fibers or anything, and there's no muscle tissue there. So, is that really chicken? I don't think so. I think it's fabricated, who knows what. That's why it doesn't do a body good, you know? So, we gotta, you know, feed our kids properly, and we have to stop them from going to these fast food places because it's not really food. And somehow or other, we got to get into schools and see that they're feeding them properly. You know, all this fast food in the school isn't helping either, you know? How about some nice fresh eggs and some bacon, and how about some fruit, you know, real food, and that should help a lot because the incidence of autism is increasing. 1 in 2 kids, 1 in 2 now, will have autism, and that's projected within the next 5 years. When I was in school, back in the day, there was maybe 1 in a class of 30. Or there may be, in my school where I went to school up in northern New York. And then my kids, they had maybe 1 in 40. Now it's 1 in 2. Can you imagine? Who are your kids going to play with if 1 in 2 kids are autistic? And what's going to happen to so that's 50% of the kids. So what's going to, you know, help support this country and run this country if we have half the kids within the next 5 years are autistic, what's going to happen to this country? Are we even going to have a country? You know, it's something to think about. If all those kids are going to be autistic, we're going to have a lot of autistic people that we're going to have to be helping. And how's that going to work for our economy and our production and our life just in general? It's craziness, you know? I mean, we have to stop this now. And there's plenty of ways of doing it. We have to become proactive. What about your kids? Do you have any kids that are young adults? They're going to want to have their kids, and all their kids are going to be in worse shape, you know, as time progresses. So we have to do something about this now to stop this craziness in this country. So, you know, ADHD and ADD, and they're treating the kids with Ritalin, which is ridiculous. Like I said, it's all food driven. They don't need Ritalin. They aren't Ritalin deficient. They aren't medication deficient. They need minerals. And where do you get minerals from? You get minerals from food. You get minerals from fruit. You get minerals from all kinds of things that are grown in the earth and on the tree. And the problem is the trees and the earth are becoming more and more mineral deficient. So that's why we're having problems with these mass shootings and everything. People do not need psych drugs. They need minerals. It's not hard. It's easy. You just need to eat better foods. You know, eat food from the sea, because that's where there's a lot of minerals. That's why seaweed is good. That's why fish is good. You know, there's so many things out there that are really good for you, and people aren't doing it, you know? So you don't have a Zoloft deficiency. You don't have a Prozac deficiency. You have a mineral deficiency. So this is what we need to do. We need to tell people about what they're eating and get things corrected. And then they're taking kids in school, and maybe the kids are saying, oh, I want to kill myself. We have to figure out why a kid is saying that. Is it because he had an argument with his best friend? He doesn't really mean that, but now they're Baker acting kids, and that's where they can take kids out of school, and it doesn't matter what their parents say, and they can put them in a hospital, a psych hospital, for 24 to 48 hours, or even maybe 72. I don't know, it's 2 to 3 days. And the parents can't do anything about it. What is going on in this country? This is ridiculous. You're going to subject a kid to a psychiatric unit in a hospital because he said, I'm going to kill myself, when he really doesn't mean it anyway? And you don't even ask the parents, you just do it? And then the parents have to pay for the test that they never wanted the kids there in the first place? This is, I feel sometimes like we live in an upside down world. I mean, this is craziness. I thought this was, you know, free society where you could say what you wanted to say and you could do what you wanted to do, and you didn't have to go through all this bureaucracy. And, you know, they're affecting our kids. This just isn't right. You know, we have to stand up. We have to do something about it. Now, I'm sorry I'm getting emotional, but what's more important to you than your kids? And if you don't do anything about it, it's not going to get better. And then what about their kids? What about your grandkids? Think about that. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. And if we stand back and we watch TV every night, and we watch these crazy programs about these super pet men and super women, it's a fantasy. You know, it's just a fantasy. And it's just a distraction from what's going on out there. And we have to stand up for our kids. If we don't stand up for our kids, what's going to happen to them? So anyway, I'm sorry I got on this tyrant, but I think it's very important. And I just wanted to touch base with all of you people and get the knowledge out there. And let's start eating better, feeding our kids better, monitoring what's going on at the school, and stopping this stuff with Ritalin and all the medications is absolutely ridiculous. I've been a registered nurse for over 40 years, and it's not getting better, it's only getting worse. So have a great day, and I hope I gave you some things to think about.